MapQuest or Maps, whatever y'all want to call it, Google, it been there, bro. Don't try to say Kendrick dropped the Addy. It been there.
Police say a man sustained serious injuries after a shooting outside that home and was taken to hospital. Police also say a suspect fled in a vehicle, but no description has been released. So far, there's no word on whether Drake was at home at the time of the shooting, but we understand from police that he has offered to fully cooperate with them. Joining me now is Mark Mendelson. He is a former homicide detective, and he joins us now to discuss the developments in this case. As Mark, we're waiting for more word from police. Details are very scant right now. But what do you make of this shooting? This, for our viewers across the country, is known as the Bridle Path, this neighborhood. It's got a lot of mansions, but it's pretty open. It's not as though it's a gated area.
It's not.
Yeah, and good morning, Marcia. You're right. It's not a gated area, but there are very, very large homes in that neighborhood. And what goes along with large homes like that is a lot of security cameras. Was
that Drake house where the neighbors was complaining because he was building walls that was too tall? Now, after this shooting, they really want him out the neighborhood. They wanted him out the neighborhood for something that petty. Now, after this shooting, the cold part about it is, when you the victim of the shooting, they still look at you as a suspect, especially if you black. Well, bro, mix. Well, if you mix, they still look at you as, you know what I'm saying? They want Drake out of there, bro. Whoever did this, I hope they get caught just for the simple fact that they clout chasing. What you mean, Ghost? Yeah, I hope that they get caught. They clout chasing, bro. And another thing, I can understand Kendrick Lamar house being in Toronto and this happening. I thought all Drake fans was from Toronto. How this happened on Bro House? Like, that's supposed to be A-OK. That's like King Tut house. You could drive by, take pictures. I'm at Drake house, whoop-de-whoop. Like, you know what I'm saying? Why are they sliding on Drake house in Toronto? I can understand if Drake house was in Compton. It's not making no sense, but it do. Because niggas be clout chasers.
Other security precautions that are taking place. And if you ever have the opportunity to drive past Drake's residence, you'll notice that there are gates and there are walls and there is sort of strategically placed trees, etc., to provide security. And there are also uniformed security guards at the residence. And it's my understanding from a source within Toronto Police that, in fact, it is a security guard who is the victim of the shooting, who was working at the time. It was described to me as a drive-by shooting. And as you mentioned, the police have put out a suspect.
Yeah, they clout chasing, bro. They did. Y'all remember when? Yeah, they clout chasing, squad. You do a drive-by on the house or a drive-by on a security guard. Either one of those don't make sense. Either one of them don't make sense, bro. Y'all ain't even get out the car on the, like, property types. Up in LA, I don't know how it is everywhere else. It's, use the bus or you do a drive-by. You gotta hop out the car and do your thing, bro. You got to. So for you to do one on the house, that makes you a double, like a triple buster. It make you... I want this beef to end today. Apology records on the way. Because now fans is getting into it and it's making it whack, boring, bunk, weak, trash, stress weed. It's making it like that, bro, and I'm not rocking with it. I could promise, my mama rest in peace, no more Kendrick or Drake records is coming from me. I'm done with this shit. I am done, squad.
Vehicle. So that's all we really know at this point. As you fairly stated, we don't know if Drake is at home, if he's in the country, or wherever. And now what the police are going to be doing is looking at the motivation behind this shooting. Again, there's lots of security cameras in all kinds of homes around that area. Lots of security guards in other homes as well and patrols. So they may have information of investigative value as well. But they'll be looking for the motivation. And of course, Marcia, in the backdrop of all of this is
we know what the
sort
motivation
of feud that's been going on, as you mentioned, with Lamar, in terms of who's dropping songs and who is.
I'm gonna tell you right now, bro. You either call him Kendrick or don't call him nothing. Who is Lamar? The homie from GTA? How you just gonna say Lamar, try to shorten it up for swag? You did it wrong, fool. With Lamar. Who is Lamar? The smoker next door? Lamar. It's Kendrick or nothing, or Kendrick Lamar. You don't shorten it by the last name. White people so used to arresting people, they want to call them by their last name. Hey, Lamar, you gotta, bro, already a suspect. Got the case on Lamar.
Disrespecting the other one. And as early as this morning, somebody actually went on Google Maps and re-tagged Drake's residence as Lamar's residence. So it's this feud going on. Now, whether this is all for clicks or for publicity, nobody knows at this point. But it really doesn't take anything more than somebody being offended by what they're seeing or reading to decide that they're going to take things into their own hands
up in Canada, bro,
and commit this crime. And that's what the police will be looking at now. So it's very early on in the investigation. Lots of good security tape to look at. You have a living witness in this security guard that's been shot. And I'm sure that when he's able to speak, he will speak, and he'll be interviewed by the police. And we'll have to go from there.
Okay, and I just want to say, Mark, this is unconfirmed that it was the security guard. We're still waiting to hear officially from police.
It's confirmed. It's a security guard. I read a little article earlier to where the security guard got shot in the chest. But he lived, though. He at the hospital, he got surgery, whatever. He lived.
We expect them to be scrumming, hopefully, with reporters outside of that scene shortly, very shortly. I do want to ask you how police investigate something like this when a high-profile celebrity is involved.
They look at the cameras.
Well, they're going to look at the motivation, as I mentioned earlier. Were there other threats that were coming in throughout the night, whether by text message or online? They'll be scouring all the online postings to see if anybody made any untoward or violent threats towards Drake or anybody that works for Drake or his residence. These are the things that they'll be looking at. They'll be scouring over the security tape to try and get a license plate and a description of that vehicle. And they'll be hunting down that vehicle as well. It may be stolen, it may not, we don't know. All of this is very early on. They'll be looking at the ballistics that remain at the scene, whether it's shell casings or if there's a bullet that's been retrieved from the victim or at the scene. They'll be looking at that.
Any kind of money, these folks will be caught in 2 weeks. There's no way you're going to be up in Canada. You shoot up, like, you pop at Drake house. You a K-Dot fan and you not brag about it. You a K-Dot fan and nobody's gonna say, man, I think it was Whoopty-Whoop. He said he might do it. You a K-Dot fan and you didn't tell people days before that you was gonna do this. You didn't do this by yourself, and if you was in the car with somebody, you drive by. I know you didn't have no situation where I'm the driver and the shooter type, so it's two.